My name is Pushpara Gavar and I'm the Chief Executive of Housing 21. I think the conference has gone really, really well, and we've built on the success of these conferences over the last 2 years. I'm sensing a real partnership with our residents and our customers, and that's really important to the way that Housing 21 needs to develop its services to meet its goals and objectives.
Hello, it's a pleasure to be here again. I think this is about my 5th or 6th tenants conference now, but I think it's actually the first time that I've had a speaking slot. So I hope by the end of the session you will not only be switched on but positively turned on. This session is called Local Services for Local People, and I'll just give you a quick overview of what we intend to cover. That's moved, good. First of all, we're going to give you an introduction to the new locality structure. We've talked about it quite a lot. I hope to give you a little bit more meat on the bone so that you can understand what it's all about and why we're doing it. I'll introduce the regional configuration so that by the end of it you should know roughly which region you're in, and talk a little bit about the service portfolios, how we are developing services, and the customer perspective. So, if I was asked what the key change is, I would say that actually the key change is that from now on we will be focusing on people. We won't be focusing on service streams, we won't be focusing on services, we will be focusing on people, because people don't fall into little buckets. All of the needs are merged together. You know, the whole of the human body works with a whole load of different systems which integrate nicely. So we don't have a separate bit for your blood and a separate bit for your nerves. It has to all come together. And that's what this new structure is about, really. It's about looking at people as whole individuals. And that awful word, holistic, it's about developing holistic services which are focused on what they need. But actually, it's not just about needs, and that's another one of the key shifts, that we're not just providing the things that people need, because we all want a lot more than we need. And that's perfectly legitimate. And we want to be the organisation that older people trust to respond to what they want and need.
This is Claire Luxton. I'm Margie Shand, as I said, and we've got Bob and Keith here as well, who will be helping us with this session. And hopefully by the end of it, you'll get a better idea of where we're going in terms of customer involvement and also in terms of actually how important it is. The first thing I would like to touch on, though, is I understand that there is, and I've heard this at many forums as well, a few issues with the term customer. So I just want to address that before we start and actually say that one of the reasons why we've started using the term customer is because we want to make sure that we're actually involving all of our care customers and our housing customers. So actually by using the term customer, we are kind of talking about everybody. And the thing with, you know, terms like tenants, residents, etc., those terms aren't disappearing at all. It's purely because when we talk about the term customer, we're talking about everybody. So hopefully that resolves that issue. But I do appreciate that some people don't like it. So apologies, and we'll try very hard not to use it a lot.
So the next slide was about what have we changed and why, how we involve you. And we carried out a survey about this time last year. We had an absolutely amazing response. It says up there, we surveyed 5,000 people and 3,000 of you responded. That's 60%. Normally you get about 20 to 30% and you're doing well on this, so this is fantastic. But what you told us was quite worrying, really, for us, because what you said was that 52% of you felt we weren't really very good at listening and involving you. And when we asked about our forums, which I know a lot of you are involved in, only 7% saw the forums as an effective method of communication. And given the amount of effort that we all have put into that, that was very disappointing. So we kind of went back to the drawing board and thought about what do we need to do better to make sure we listen, respond and improve to you. I'm not going to say the C word, I'm going to say to all of you, so that we can engage with you and involve you better.
Now on to our questions. Yeah, so we've now got a series of questions that you can use your handsets for, so handsets at the ready.
Could you answer this question? How do you find out about how people feel about Housing 21 services? Is it that Assume Housing 21 knows best? If you think that, answer A. B, if you think it's B, one off quick survey and hide the results, put that one down. C, ignore any problems. Or D, ask the people who know and use the feedback.
Yes!
Yay!
Okay, those 9 people, if you want to talk to me afterwards. At least gone up now. Yes, well, at least we got through.
Thank you.
Fantastic.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. It's good to be in the north of England, I have to say that. And depending upon your viewpoint, you're either on the right side of the Pennines or the wrong side of the Pennines. But I'll let you draw your own conclusion on that. And we're going to celebrate this evening all of the great and good works. The friendship, the communities, the dependence, the reliance upon each other as an organisation and as individuals and as communities. Really difficult job this year determining some winners. We had hundreds of entries. In fact, the difference between some of them was hair thin in terms of determining our winners this evening. So a really, really difficult job, really challenging. But I think what we have this evening is 5 awards and 5 winners that really celebrate what the best of Housing 21 is and what the best of you is as well. So I think it's really important that we reflect on the contribution that as an organisation we make and reflect on the contribution that you within your communities make as well. We have 5 awards this evening, and those are Living an Active Life, Being Inspired and Inspiring Others, Getting Online and Digitally Connected, Working with Others as part of a team, and Helping each other out by being a good neighbour. So for the first award this evening, we have our Live Active Award. And this is the award where we're looking for an example of a lively court. And I'm delighted to announce this evening the winner of this award is Ackley Court. The next award this evening is about being inspired. It's about an inspirational person who has undertaken a challenge over and above the norm, done something exceptional, or achieved something challenging despite disability or illness. The winner of the award this evening is an individual, a very rare breed of person, who at 96 had completed 8 abseils, raising over £10,000 for Click Sargent, a charity which supports children and younger people with cancer. Despite having bowel cancer and a colostomy, this person was unstoppable. She never complained about her illness, her favourite saying being that she has her 2 boys to get her through, will and purse, willpower and perseverance. Sadly, our winner this evening passed away, doing something that she loved, raising money, working for her community. Winner this evening is Gertie Painter. I'm absolutely delighted to say that Gertie's niece is here this evening to collect the award on her behalf, and the money prize is going to be donated to 2 charities on Gertie's behalf. The money will be split between Click Sargent, the Children's Cancer Charity, and Foresight, which supports blind and partially sighted people. So I'd like you to join me in a round of applause, a celebration of Gertie's life. The next award this evening is about getting connected. It's about the best example, best use of digital media. It's about making a difference in someone's life through that media. For example, using Skype to contact far distant relatives, or getting funding for computers on course. This project has truly helped residents to stay active both mentally and physically. The winner of the award this evening is the Hancock Courts Residents Association, and we have representatives of Hancock Court this evening to accept the award. The next award this evening is about working together. This award is about best examples of staff, customers and the community working in partnership on joint projects to achieve a common goal. A good example of this is about activities that obtain grant funding to buy things for the courts and initiating a recycling scheme. The winners of the Working Together Award are Iris Ellis and June Thompson from Turnbull Court in Leeds. Final award this evening is about being a good neighbour. It's for someone who has done something really special in going that extra mile to help others, individuals, at the court, or in the community as a whole. I think you'll probably agree with me that we could all probably do with a neighbour like Neil Skerritt.
Our first item is entitled The Great Debate and asks questions. What more could the government do for older people? And who has it toughest, younger or older people? Here we are chaired by Simon Fanshawe, one of our board members and broadcaster, who needs no introduction at all. With him we have a guest speaker from Intergenerational Foundation, Angus Hanton. Also Mervyn Kohler from Age UK, ably assisted by two of our court residents, Aileen Everidge and Malcolm Gardner. Aileen's from Grounds Court and Malcolm's from General Johnson Court. So I will hand over to them.
So Angus, why don't you kick us off with some thoughts on that, the intergenerational question?
Thanks, Simon. I was struck when I first got here by the first two people I met said to me they were concerned. One was concerned about her son, who's trying to buy a house for the first time. That was Sandy. And George told me he was concerned about his grandson and the challenges he faces at the age of 15. And it seems to me that this shouldn't be a young versus old sort of discussion. I think we're all concerned about what happens for younger people, what sort of world we leave them. And so I think it's a shared rather than a confrontational question. The crisis for young people is that houses are expensive to rent, expensive to buy, and in many cases also hard to find suitable accommodation. The problem is the mismatch between our housing stock and our housing needs. And it seems to me that if more people were encouraged, where they wanted to, were encouraged to downsize, that would be something very worthwhile, because not only would they, again, if they wanted to downsize, find a more suitable accommodation, but they would free up a family house. So it seems to me that the government could do a lot more to encourage downsizing. It could set up an agency to help people. It could give a break on stamp duty for people who want to downsize. And most importantly of all, it could encourage the building of suitable housing that's secure, that's in the same community.
Simon, thank you very much indeed. I dislike, as Angus does, this idea of polarising young versus old. The older population, it's unsurprising that the older population has a lot of assets. If you've led a moderately successful life for 6 or 7 decades, the chances are you will have built up assets, and more than somebody who's only been working for 2 or 3 years. So I don't think there's anything to apologise about that. And I don't think that the older population is sitting around jealously guarding its wealth and not actually participating in society. Our older population, by and large, wants to participate in society, wants to be engaged with society, wants to make a contribution. And I think one of the big challenges for government is to enable older people to do that.
Well, Simon, to be truthful, I think, and all of us here have worked all of our lives, and we've all paid tax, we've all paid national insurance, and at the end of the day, okay, we may not have paid as much, but things were a lot cheaper in our day, but we still paid proportionally about the same. So, I mean, in another, say, 30 or 40 years' time, when the youngsters are becoming our age, is it going to be the same problem for their youngsters? Because obviously all prices increase. So, you know, at the end of it all, we've worked hard all our lives, paid taxes and our insurance, so why shouldn't we be able to reap the benefit of that?
Heather Mosley, Devonshire Court. I lived in a 3-bedroom house, but I gave it up 2 years ago to move into a smaller place to allow a younger family to move into my property.
And you felt happy about that?
I am very happy about it because it was too big for me, you know, a 3-bedroom house. And now I'm in housing 21 and I'm very happy.
My name is George Spry. I'm a resident at Lawrence Hill Court in Gateshead, and I have co-chaired the conference for the past 2 years.
And how do you feel the conference is going?
I have to compare it with previous conferences, and I feel that, to be honest, I feel we could have done better. I think some of the first day agenda items were a little bit too heavy, probably not too relevant for a lot of people, and but the second day today has been truly inspirational. I think people have told me that they've enjoyed it. It's been very interesting topics, and really a first-rate second day. But overall, I think we go from strength to strength conference-wise.
I'm Sarah Vallely, and I am the Intelligence Manager for Housing 21. Now, obviously, that is a very specialist role, and what I'm up to is very top secret, so I can't tell you where I'm based or what I'm doing. However, you would expect, with a job title like Intelligence, that I might know something about technology. Well, I have something to tell you. I'm not an expert. I would not classify myself as an expert. But I think that's partly the point, because we don't need to get hung up about the technology, the computers, the equipment. It's about what it can do for you. It's how it can help us to live our lives and do what we want to do.
Now, one of the things that came out of Digital, one of the questions that you were asked through that enormous amount of paperwork you were asked to fill in at every point, so I apologise for that, was what was the biggest driver for you to use the internet, to use computers? And who we're calling is Gertrude. Now, Gertrude lives in Scotland, but she is from Nigeria. And hopefully she's at the other end. If not, we're going to have to talk to my finance manager at NIAS, which is not at all as interesting. And what she does is she uses Skype to speak to her friends and family and keep in touch with them in Nigeria and show them the way that her little boy is growing up. Hello there, Gertrude.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm fine. Hi, Susan.
Well, I'm sorry I'm a wee bit later than I said. Really nice to see you. If you want to say hello to these hundreds of people out here who are all watching you on the big screen.
Hello.
Come on, a wee bit louder.
Hello.
Yeah, on both sides.
My name is Doris Land, and we're at one of the new builds at Mulberry Court in Cirencester, and this is our first conference. What did I think of the conference? Well, as it was the first one, I haven't really got anything else to judge by, but from other conferences I've been at, I think this one's very good. The information has been very good. I'm going to have a lot of information to take back to the court.
Okay, so the short and sweet ending here is if you think you might be entitled to something, then claim it now. Don't wait, or you might be too late. And it's not just John and I that deal with this. Your court managers are playing a very important part in that. Even if they don't feel equipped to give you information in more complicated cases, they have direct line to John and I via email, via telephone, and we can help them support you at a distance through whatever it is that you might be claiming. And we are training the court managers as new court managers come into Housing 21. Usually within the first 6 months of their employment, we are giving them welfare benefits awareness training so that it brings them up to date, and we give them the welfare benefit handbook, which gives them a guide to help you through the process of claiming the various benefits.
I'm Rita and I live at Atley Court in Wellingborough. I've only been there for 18 months. I have a husband who didn't come today. We absolutely love it. It's a wonderful court manager. We won an award last night, have loads of things going on all the time. I'm secretary of the Residents Association, husband's entertainment officer, and we do things everywhere. So it's really, really wonderful. And I've enjoyed the conference.
Brilliant. Which aspects do you like most about the conference?
I liked the welfare benefits aspect because that applies probably to 90% of us, and I have a query about that, which I will try and resolve. And I didn't realise that Housing 21 was such a big organisation. So I've learned a lot about Housing 21 because I just sort of moved in and that was it. And it's been very informative.
This is my very great pleasure, really, is to introduce to you Amanda Waring. You haven't even
Simon as well.
You haven't even done anything.
I know, it's
fantastic.
Marvelous. Easy crowd, love it.
Amanda is an actress, and she's a chocolate maker, and she's a trained shaman. She's all sorts of things. She's a really remarkable person. And we thought we'd start the conversation because this will root us really in Amanda's passion for the respect and dignity for older people in society. We thought we'd start to talk about her parents and her life, a little bit of her life with them, and then really the times when she had to look after them in the last few years. Your parents were also incredibly well known. People might remember the actress Dorothy Tutin, and her father was Derek Waring, who was also an actor, you remember, from Z-Cars and so on and so forth.
But so with Mum, we had a very unhappy experience because we did trust that the care that she would receive would be dignified, respectful, what you would expect for your mum. Not because she was a famous actress, she's my mum.
In what ways was it deficient?
The staff wouldn't even look her in the eye when they came into the room. Food was literally thrown at her. There was no communication. There was no addressing her. She was moved as if she was just a body to be done unto. There was no sense of compassion or interaction. We talked about care, And for me, love in care is not a dirty word.
And in order to try and get this message over to an even wider audience, you've made these short films, and we thought we'd show the beginning of one of them now. This is a situation which mirrors that kind of thing that happened to Dorothy.
As if she hasn't got enough friends she can't offer on to. Oh, no. It's not as a feather, this one. I'm in trouble getting her out. Anyway, finally, get to sleep at 2. Back up at 7 to come in here, and I'm on a double shift. What about you? Nah, single. Right, you're the lucky one. Here. What's she saying? Nothing. She had a stroke. She likes to make a fuss every now and then. Don't you, dearie? That's quite moody, this one. What's her name? Mrs. Atkins. Oh, Atkins. Mrs. Atkins. That's something like that. A chart somewhere.
Bless you. The drum, my training in Native American Indian heritage, is there to remind you to bless you. And if you've blessed me with the most extraordinary standing ovation, I bless you with the heartbeat of the drum.
And thank you so much.
Well, can I say it's been an absolute pleasure for me to share this conference with you and to meet so many of you over the last couple of days. I think I've sat in through every session, and I've also met, a large number of you, which I've been very pleased to do. But above all, I hope you know that I've been listening very, very carefully to what you've been saying, to your concerns and also your ideas for improving the organisation, and I'm very, very grateful for that. I think what you all show is a huge commitment to Housing 21. All our staff share that commitment, and the fact that you're all here shows the commitment that you give to the organisation, to the work of Housing 21, and I must thank you for that.
First of all, did you enjoy the conference? Yes. Yeah, so I didn't use the technology for that, but that's much better. We had a session on our new build programme, and in my session yesterday, I did say that we spent £25 million on our existing properties, and that's hugely important. If you look at our corporate plan, one of our key objectives is that we bring our existing homes up to a very high standards, and which means that in our financial plan, we have to be putting in resources for investing in our homes. What you need is a lot more visibility of that. So I think what I can promise you is that within 6 months, you will have visibility of exactly what it is that we plan to do in your courts. And Teo has promised that is certainly already available. So again, that can be on the agenda of the locality meetings and the partnership groups that are being set up. I think you're ambassadors. There are 100 of you here. There are 20,000 residents out there. So we need to use the opportunity to take away from this conference the messages back to the court so that other residents also feel inspired and feel able to participate and work with us in developing this partnership. Right, so in conclusion, can I echo all the thanks to George and Maureen, the organising committee, done a marvellous job, to the exec team and the staff, and also to you for being here. I think it's been really engaging. I've had lots and lots of interesting discussions. The dancing was fabulous last night. And I wish you a very safe journey. I very much look forward to seeing you next year. Thank you very much.
Julie Hollings.
Sandy Gordon.
Head of Communications.
Communications Officer, and I work for Julie.
Yeah, the idea of the conference was this theme around getting connected. So we wanted just follow up on the customer engagement, look at all the broader ways in which people can connect with the organisation, and also how they can help themselves, how we can empower them around money, around getting digital, all those kind of things. And I think the other thing we wanted to do was have a mixture of serious content and also something sort of fun.
Yes, a bit of entertainment as well as the serious stuff, so that people actually come along, get involved, get engaged, see what they can do in the future, and also just have a lot of fun as well, and hopefully dance the night away.